Hi all. In this video, I am going to explain about the control statements in C. Generally, the control statements can be classified as conditional type or loop type. We either control the statements by the condition or with the loop. In conditional control statements, we have if else, nested if else ladder, switch case. And in loop control statements, it is categorized in three ways: while, do while, and for. Let us check one by one now. First is if. It's a simple if. What do you mean by simple if? If I have a test condition or expression, if that is true, it will enter inside the block, inside the loop, and it will check the statement and it will be executed. And the statement it continues whatever we have in the next line after that. For an example, simple if is whether we can check whether a person is eligible to vote or not. So we'll have all this main function stdio was include stdio.h, and now I'm main thing to check whether a person is eligible to vote or not is their age. So int age we get it and print it. To check we print it as if age is greater than or equal to 18. If the age is greater than or equal to 18, then we have to say the person is eligible to vote. If the person is age is less than 18, then the person is not eligible to vote. So if statement and next whatever we have, it moves to the next line. So if the condition is true, it just executes the next one and return. So the output will be such that for the first run case, the age is entered as 20. So age is greater than or equal to 18. This condition is executed. It is true, and so the person is eligible to vote. Whereas in the next test case or run case, we gave the enter the age as 16. So the case is if age is less than 18, the person is not eligible to vote. Next is if else. In if else, we have if there will be a text expression, and if the condition is true, then it enters and executes this. Else it will move to the else condition. There is no condition for else. Automatically it checks whatever is there in the else and it prints that. Then it continues with the next body of the letter, which is statement A. Same example, we try to find whether a person is eligible to vote or not. Again, it is based on the age. All these are same. We get declare the age as integer, then we get it and print it. Now here, if age is greater than or equal to 18, obviously we have to print as the person is eligible to vote. In last case, we used if here. We don't want to put another if. Instead, we use else. If there is only one condition, a person can be eligible to vote if and only if he or she is greater than having an age limit beyond 18. Either he or she should be 18 or above 18. So the condition can be further modified as if it is this condition, he or she is greater than 18, the person is eligible to vote. Else obviously the person is not eligible to vote. So I don't want to give a if condition here, like if age is less than 18, the person is not eligible to vote. There's only one condition: if age is greater than or equal to 18, the person is eligible to vote. If not, else obviously the person is not eligible to vote. So here repetition of is reduced by if else. Same, I give the age as 20. So if condition is checked, it is true. So the person is eligible to vote. Next, I give another condition. Second time I run it and I give the age as 16. It checks the if condition. It is false. So it comes out of the if loop and goes to the else. Automatically it prints the printf that is given there. Else condition is else statement is the person is not eligible to vote. So very simple, right? Next is nested if else. Here it is if there is first condition. If the first test condition is true, it enters inside the loop. If the first test condition is false, it comes out of this and moves to the else and prints whatever is in the else block. Suppose, let us assume if the test condition 1 is true, then it enters inside the loop of this and checks the if condition again. Because it's a nested if, we have one more if else. Now there is a second condition. If this second condition is true, it enters into this. If the second condition is false, then it follows the else statement. Though my test condition is 1 true, whereas my test condition 2 is false, the statement 2 will be printed. If my test condition 1 is true and my test condition 2 is also true, statement 1 will be printed. If my test condition 1 itself is false, then my statement 3 will be printed. This is how it goes. Let us check with an example. I'm going to find, I have three numbers. I'm going to find which is the biggest number among the three numbers given. So we declare three variables as integer, then we get all the variables and print it. Now I give first if condition, condition 1, a greater than b. It is, we are checking it for an, and then we enter inside the loop. So, say for an example, I have 10, 20 and 30. Now 10 is the a variable, 20 is the b variable and 30 is the c variable. And if 10 is greater than b, which means 10 is greater than 20, then it will enter into this loop. But for our condition it is false. So what happens? It will not execute this. It will move inside the else loop. Okay, now I am entering into the else loop because the condition 1 has failed. Now I am moving on to the else. Inside the else, I have one more if condition. Here the second condition is, the third condition is b greater than c, 20 greater than 30. No, it's not. So it will move out of this and it will come to the else inside the else body of the loop. Here it is going to print the biggest number is c. So in case if I have the reverse scenario 30, 20 and 10, in that case a greater than b, then condition is true, so it enters inside the loop. Now I'm going to check the second condition, a greater than c. Yes, 30 will be, in case if I have 30, 20 and 10, 30 greater than 10, obviously it will enter this loop and it will print the number whatever I have it in a. So again it will be 30. If not, what happens is, the first condition is true, so which means second is not the biggest number, whereas first number is less than the third number, so I'll be printing the third number, which is the C. But here in our case 30, 10 at the 30, 20 and 10, so obviously my number will be A, which is the 30. Again it will not move to the else loop in this case. Okay, so these are the different cases where we tried it. So this is what I told, 30, 10 and 20, 30, 20 and 10. You can even make a try with the different numbers. You can try the logic also. For this here 20, 30 and 10, let us try with the loop. A greater than B, no, it's false. So it will come out of this loop, move to this. Then 30, second is B greater than C. Yeah, 30 is greater than 10. So obviously it will print B as the number. Fine. Now 30, 10 and 20. So here A is greater than B. Yes, 30 is greater than 10. It enters the loop. Second condition is A greater than C. Yes, 30 greater than 20. So obviously it is going to be A. If else, in case it is the other way, then obviously it is going to be C. Anyway, the highest number will be printed. Whatever random way you give your numbers, it is going to be, the logic is this, and your highest number will be printed. Next is if else ladder. It is like if, else if, else if, else if, you continue n number of times, and even if all the conditions are false, at last you'll have else. Instead of putting it as if else, or if inside you have so many if else, nested if, it is like if else if. This is called as if else ladder. So I have first is if test condition 1. So if the condition 1 is true, the statement 1 will be printed, or whatever I have in this block will be executed. If the test condition 1 fails, it will go to the next one. It is else if, checks for the condition 2, and if the condition 2 is true, then it executes this. If it is false, again it goes to the next one, condition 3. If that is true, then it will be executing that block or loop. If that fails or it is false, then obviously move to the next. Likewise, it will move to n number of times. So you can give n number of else if conditions, and even if all the cases are false, it will move to the last else. So that will be a default statement. Fine, let us check with an example. Now I have different grades for different range of marks. How to find the grade of a subject? Very simple. I give the mark as the integer, so I am getting the mark and then I am printing it. And now I have to classify from which range to which range I have to give a grade. So I am giving it as, if my mark is greater than or equal to 91, then the grade is S. Or if my mark is greater than or equal to 81, then my grade is A. If it is greater than or equal to 71, then it becomes B. Likewise, if for 61 it is C, greater than or equal to, and greater than or equal to 57 is D, and greater than or equal to 50 is E, and if it is less than 50, obviously the grade is actually U, which means it is fail. So these are the different range of grades. So the grades range from S to E and also U, which represents the fail. Okay, now I am giving for an example, I enter the mark here as 85, and now it ranges from like 0 to 81, greater than or equal to 81, so my grade will be A. Suppose if my mark is 92, then it falls under the first case, if case, so it is yes. So I'm checking, first I'm checking if condition. No, it's not true because it is not greater than or equal to 91 because my mark is 85 as of now. So this condition is false, so it will come out of this and checks the else if, first else if. Now my mark is greater than or equal to 81. Yes, it is greater than or equal to 85 because 81, because it is more than 81, it is 85. So I am executing this. Now it will not follow any of this. It will move to the final one. That's it. Suppose if my mark is somewhere around 55, then what happens is, first it will check the if condition. No, it's false. Next else if is, it's not false because it is not greater than 81 because my mark is 55. Now again it checks the next condition, else if it should be greater than or equal to 71. It is also false because my mark is now 55. No. Then second, next else if is greater than or equal to 61. It is false because my mark is 55. And here the next else if is greater than or equal to 57. This is also false because my mark is now 55. Last else if is mark is greater than or equal to 50. Yes, because it is 55, so grade is E. And last case is enter the mark as 45. Suppose I enter as 45. Now all these conditions will become false. At last there is no condition left out. It is the default statement because else it is going to be falling under the U grade. So it is, because the range is given only till greater than or equal to 50. So there is no further conditions to be checked. Now it is 45. So it moves to the else and you find it as U grade. Next is the switch case. I have an expression here. I'll move into this case 1 and I'll execute it, break. Likewise case 2, execute it, break. Likewise I have n number of cases and then break. I have a default, then block, break it. I'll explain this with the example. Now I have to do arithmetic operations using a switch case. Say for an example, I have two numbers. Arithmetic operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. That's what I'm going to do. So for that I need two variables as an integer. So I declare that variable as n1, n2, and I have a choice representing which operation that I want to do, whether it is an addition operation or subtraction operation or any multiplication or division. So the three variables are declared as integer. I get it and then represent as first number and second number, and I also print this as the choices as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Now I want to enter my choice also, that is also being given here. I'll explain here. Switch choice. Choice is nothing but my representation. What I've done is choice as the uh, case, like the condition, expression where I decide which operation that has to be done. So first case is I do the addition operation, I break it. This is nowhere relevant to the second case. Second case is this. Third case is multiplication. Fourth case is division. So I do it by float n1 by n2, and then I get, if no other I don't give any of these choices, I give any other irrelevant choice other than 1 to 4, then obviously it moves to the default case, which is the invalid choice. I'll explain with the example. First I gave the enter the first number, it is 10, and I get the second number, it is 5. Now I have these many operations to be done, so I printed it. First represents addition, second represents subtraction, third is for multiplication, and fourth is representing the division. Now I have to enter the choice. I am entering the choice from 1 to 4. I can enter any choice. So now I am entering the option or the choice as 3. That is the case here, no? Expression here, switch case. So I enter it as 3. Now instead of executing case 1, case 2, it will move to the case 3 because I have given the option as 3. So it will move to the case 3 and it will execute this operation, which is n1 into n2, that is equal to 50. Done. Now the same is done in the second time, but what I do for entering the choice value, instead of 1 to 4 I give some number randomly. Now here in this example I give 5, but what I have done is I have given only a choice of 1 to 4, and that's how I have given the cases. Only 4 cases are given. So I don't have any other choice of like 1 to 4. So obviously it will move to the default condition where it is represented as invalid choice. So this is how we do it. Instead of putting different cases as nested if or else if or like that, no, we can easily, if I want to pick a particular case, then that can be done using a switch case. Next, we are moving on to the looping control, which is with the while, do while, and for. So while is very simple. It's like while if the condition is true, it enters into the body of the loop, then it executes and comes off of it. Now we'll follow an example printing the values from 1 to 10. Like only simple, the numbers from 1 to 10 are going to be showcased or printed. For that, how you make use of while, do while, and print for is the case that we are going to check. I get the variable I, now I declare it as equal to 1. Now I give the test condition for while as while I less than or equal to 10. If that is true, then it will enter to the loop, or else it will come out of the loop and return the 0. Nothing will be printed. Now here for my case it is I equal to 1 and it is less than or equal to 10, so it enters into the loop. This is an entry controlled loop. Okay. Now if I want to enter into a loop, that is decided by the while. So it is an entry controlled loop. There are two types of loop structure condition. One is entry controlled loop, the other one is the exit controlled loop. Whether the entry itself being controlled or the exit is being controlled. Here I'm my entry is being controlled by the while, whereas do while will be an exit controlled loop. I'll explain when I explain the do while. So my entry is checked. Now it is less than or equal to 10, so it is entering. I print the value as 1, then I increment it. This is post incrementation. I've explained in one of my video what is post increment and pre increment. You can check it in the operators. So I plus plus means it is incremented by 1, so it becomes 2. Then again it goes to the while loop. It checks the condition, yes, it is 2 is less than 10, so it is printing the value as 2. It is incremented 3, yeah, it is less than 10. It is printed 3 is printed and incremented. Likewise it goes and checks until now I have 9. It increments to 9. Yeah, now when it is 9 it is printed, and now after that it is incremented. Now it becomes 10. Yes, it is less than or equal. It is equal to 10. So it is entering into the loop and it is printed as 10. It is incremented. Now it becomes 11. And now it is checked in the while. It is not less than or equal to 10. So it comes out of the loop and that's it. Suppose if I give while less than 10, it will print only 1 to 9. It will not even print 10. So you have to decide whether if you want 1 to 10 or 1 to 9. Based on that you have to give the condition. Let us check for what do while, how the same example is being used. For do while, you go with the do, just do the operation whatever it is, and then enter the while, check the condition. If the condition is true, then enter the body of the loop, execute it, or else you just move to the next line. This is called as exit control loop. As I mentioned before, you are anyway performing it once, but moving out of the loop is decided by the while condition given here. But in case of while, if and only if that while condition is true, it will enter into the loop. In case of do while, whether the condition is true or false, anyway your content in the loop will be executed once and then the condition will be checked. This is the only difference between while and do while. So same, int is declared as I is declared as integer and I equal to 1. Now do this operation, so it is the body of the loop. So print it the I and I plus plus, which means I print 1 now and then I increment it to 2. Whereas, okay, now I'll fully explain this. So it is I equal to 1 and then I plus plus, it becomes 2 now. Then after the next line it becomes the while. So it checks for this while. So I less than or equal to 10, which means, yeah, of course, right now it is 2 is less than 10. I'm not checking 1, I'm checking only 2. So 2 is also less than 10. And then again it enters the loop here. So it is 2 printed, then 2 is incremented as 3, it checks here. So the process goes on until it is 10. Okay, yes, it is less than or equal to 10, done. So again it goes here, prints, and then I plus plus 11, it checks now. No, it is not less than or equal to 10, comes out of the loop. But no, the point here is to be noted here is, if in case I give instead of 10 as 1, what happens is, in case if it is 2, okay, so what happens is it will execute at least once. If I give less than 1, then obviously it is like, I'll get at least less than 2 if I give, then obviously it will execute at least once, because if I initially I have I equal to 1, it will print, and then only it increments and it becomes less than or equal to 2, so obviously it will print at least 1. In the previous case, if I give while case as the first one, entry itself is restricted. Here exit is restricted, or it is controlled, it's controlled, do while. Now let us check for the for loop. For, we have three expressions in the for condition. It's not condition, we have three expressions. First is initialization, then giving the test condition, then you increment or decrement based on the process that you're going to do. Then you have the exact operation or the task that is going to be performed will be the body of the loop. Then you come out of it, then you carry on with the other one. So it's statement A. Same example, I want to print the values from 1 to 10. Let us check how we are going to do with this for loop. Initially what I did for while and do while is I had int I and I equal to 1. That's what I have given before for the two cases, earlier two cases. Now I have for loop here. So first expression is initialization. So I give it as I equal to 1. Next is the test condition, I less than or equal to 10. Next is the increment or decrement. So I plus plus. Right now I'm just going to increment because I'm starting with 1. So I give it as I plus plus. And it is printed, and the loop just goes on by this way until it is like the same case. First is I equal to 1, then it is printed. Next it goes for the for loop. It's already done, so the initialization is only for the first case, and for the second time after 1 it goes, yes, it's less than 10, and it is incremented, printed. Again it goes by this way until it is 10, it is just done. Yeah, so this is how it goes. As I represented I plus plus post incrementation, only after doing this it is post incremented. After incrementing it, after doing this printf, it is post incremented. So it is done by this way. Now in the previous two cases, we would have given I equal to 1 here, and the test this condition will be inside the while, and this I plus plus will be in the body of the loop. We eliminate all that and put it here itself in the for loop, and we print only the condition here. This is a simple example. So by using while, do while as well as for loop, I am printing the values from 1 to 10. You can test for another cases also. These are the different control structures statements. If you have any doubts, you can put it in the comment section.